Yeah. So I was fired yesterday. Still in a state of shock. I've been with the company for about 4 years. It's a terrible company to work for, but the reason why I started working for that company is because I have chronic mental and physical health problems. So I couldn't work a typical 9 to 5. So it actually took me 7 years to get this job. 7 years of hell, applying thousands of jobs, doing all these tests, getting scammed literally over 30 times. But I'm a fighter. I stuck with it. Eventually, I got the job. I told myself, no matter what happens, no matter however bad it gets, I'm gonna stick with it because knowing the way how the job market is, I knew that if I lost the job, I would probably never work again. So I stuck with it for nearly 4 years. It was a terrible job right from the beginning. Things just kept getting harder and harder for me. They kept making my job harder and harder for the same pay. Stuck with it. Uh, all of my superiors were incompetent idiots. Just after the level of ignorance and incompetence was staggering. Like, I'm not even being hyperbolic. They were just some of the dumbest people I've ever had the displeasure of working with. Yet I stuck with it because they were my superiors. There was nothing like else I could do. I had to stick, suck it up basically. So my job just kept getting harder and harder, and they kept making these like just these egregious mistakes that were costing me money and time. And eventually, I snapped and I was blunt. I told them, look, you keep making these mistakes. It wasn't like a once or twice sort of thing. It was like literally dozens of times. They kept making the same mistakes. And because I was a freelancer, there wasn't much I could do. Like if I was working a typical 9 to 5 in an office, I can go complain to HR or something about them. Like this person is making my job difficult. They're idiots. Like this has to stop. You can't put up with this kind of ineptitude. Because I'm a freelancer, I've never set foot in the office. And I'm in Montreal. The company's based in Ontario. There wasn't much I could do, and so I told the content manager, look, you made this huge mistake. Now I'm a week behind schedule because of you. Like, come on. It was something like basically someone in elementary school would not make. That's how stupid she is as a person. And apparently she got butthurt because I called her out on her incompetence, and so she fired me. That was basically the reason why they let me go. I dared to challenge authority and to call them out on their BS. And she didn't even bother to tell me for 2 weeks. She already made up her mind. And then after multiple emails, she finally like, yeah, I don't want to work with you anymore. And again, if it was a typical company, I could complain. If it was a 9 to 5, I could go to like non-travail and sue for not for being dismissed for without just cause. But because I'm a freelancer, I have no rights. And even worse, I don't get any severance pay even though I've been with the company for 4 years. No 4%, no unemployment. I'm not eligible as a freelancer, so I have nothing basically. I basically have a couple of $1,000s worth of savings. And once that's depleted, I'm basically on the streets. And it just pisses me off that I was let go not because of something I did. I didn't do anything wrong. I know I stuck with the same work ethic, the same quality of production throughout the 4 years. That didn't change. And yeah, like now I've got nothing. And because of my health issues, my chronic health issues, my options are very limited, and everything has been complicated because of COVID. And it's just rough. This was my raison d'etre, having had chronic health issues for over 20 years and no friends, never been in a relationship, really nothing to live for. This was the only thing that I had was this job, even though it was a really shitty job. And like I said, the people I worked for were morons. The job itself was extremely boring and tedious. The pay was well below the standard. I had to wait 6 weeks to get paid. It's a terrible pay schedule. They often delay payments. There was like absolutely nothing good about this job whatsoever. The turnover rate was through the roof. But it was all I could get. Beggars can't be choosers. So I took it. I stuck with it for 4 years, put up with their abuse, and they let me go. And there's a part of me that's relieved because I hated working for them, and I thought of quitting every single day. In fact, yeah, even the very first day, I even told the content manager, look, I don't know if I'm the right fit. But she's like, look, try it out for a week, and I decided to, okay, whatever. I tried it out, and ended up sticking with it. But anyways, job prospects are really bad, and what pisses me off the most is that there's so many people out there that don't know what it's like. I think the biggest problem is with society isn't greed; it's lack of empathy. Like people aren't able to put themselves in the other person's shoes and try to understand where they're coming from. It's like, hey, if I could do it, you could do it, sort of thing. Like, no, everyone's got the limitations, the weaknesses. Some people have a lot of contacts. Some people are more sociable and more extroverted. Some people are just smarter, harder working, and more street smart. They have certain assets and other people lack. You don't seem to realize that. My parents think that jobs grow on trees. It's like so easy to get jobs. It's really not. Like I've been looking for the last couple. Like I had a bad feeling that I was gonna be let go beginning of June. So I started looking in June, and I just spent 3 weeks looking. Haven't got anything. Just a bunch of scams, weird prank calls, robocalls, and stuff, spam. but I haven't gotten any kind of jobs. Doing a bunch of tests, which I absolutely hate, but I do them anyways. And it's just competition is really fierce. You got like 200 people applying for a position. Your chances statistically of getting the job are like 0.5%. It's infinitesimal. So then the other 199 move on to the next, and then more people come in that recently graduated, and it's just the excess supply. There's too many graduates, too many people looking for jobs, there's too many people wanting remote jobs. They don't want to go back to the 9 to 5 in the office. The commute, especially with gas prices being what they are. So I don't know what to do right now. I'm at a loss for words. I have nothing to fall back on except a couple of grand of savings. I was hoping my parents would give me some relief in terms of rent. Uh, that's interesting. Maybe I'm an outlier, but like I know like a lot of people, young people in their 20s and 30s that don't pay rent and they have full time jobs. They asked like I paid for my own college education, my university and stuff. I worked my way through 7 days a week. I have zero debt. It's one good thing. I never asked my parents for money for my higher education. I've been paying rent for basically 15 or 16 years now. It sucks now because, like I said, I don't have a job and I'm gonna be broke soon. I guess a social assistance, but from what I heard, apparently if you live with your parents, you only get like 400 a month or something. I don't know. I'm living in Quebec. Let me know if anyone's in Quebec or knows how it works. I can't live off of 400 if I'm eligible. Like I don't know. My parents and I were not close at all. Like they hate my guts. They just think I'm a lazy bum. All my relatives think that, even though that's not the case. It's just that I have a lot of health issues, but in our community, the South Asian community, mental health issues and physical health issues are stigmatized. So you can't really talk about things. You tell you suck it up. It's like tough. Everyone has some issues. You just gotta work through it, sort of thing. And let me tell you one thing: the tough love thing does not work. It just demoralizes the person. When they're looking to you for support, calling them a loser or a bum and telling them to just get a job or work in some dead end job or like too bad if you have a health problem. Like work or die sort of thing. That doesn't help the person. It just makes them feel more lonely and isolated. It's just how South Asians are. So like I said, I don't really have that many friends. Most of them have abandoned me since my health issues, since I was diagnosed with my health issues. I've been sick for over almost 25 years now. I started when I was 11. I spent 5 months in the hospital. I'm almost 36. I'll be 36 next month. And my health has gotten worse and worse. It's just enduring each day. And I've been praying for years, for some kind of miracle. But then this happens. Like, I literally don't have a reason on death. I have nothing to live for now. It's like we're getting up, dealing with all these horrible health issues, dealing from all the abuse from my parents, hating on me, my relatives hating on me, not having any friends or a relation. I never have been in a relationship. Now I don't have a job or any prospects. Like I literally have no reason to live. And if I wasn't a coward, I would just take my own life because I don't want to live. I'm just in constant pain. I'm not a masochist, but I'm too much of a coward to do that. So I'm just waiting out the clock. Ultimately, life is pointless. I mean, we all end up being 6 feet under, or being like worm food, being urn filler, and we just try to distract ourselves from our inevitable mortality by working or trying to give meaning to things that are ultimately meaningless. We're all just killing time until time kills us. To quote It's a Gundam. So like when I think of it that way, I'm like, yeah, whatever, man. Like I shouldn't even be here. I should have died a long, long time ago. I've had so many near-death experiences, and literally dozens of near-death experiences. It started when I was 1. I almost died when I was 1. I had to be incubated, and I've almost drowned at least twice. I've had so many near-death experiences. I shouldn't be here. So I've been living on borrowed time for basically my entire life. So when you put it that way, like I'm kind of like The Walking Dead. So I kind of think of it that way. Like I shouldn't even be here. Like just try to enjoy what time you have. Like I know I'm like in pretty much constant pain, dealing with all my health issues. But I mean, look, back in the medieval times, people used to die at 30. So I'm almost 36. So if I lived in those times, I'd be considered old. It's all a matter of perspective. And I think my prime years are behind me, so there's nothing to look forward to anyway. So like maybe death would be a blessing in disguise. But I'm also a fighter. Like I don't want to just sit around and wait for death. So I'm gonna keep applying. But like ultimately, I know I'm never gonna get anything because like it took me 7 years to get this shitty dead end job. Now things being what they are, it's basically gonna be impossible. Even though I have I started working when I was 17. So I do have about 19 years of job experience. The thing is, like back then, my health wasn't that bad. I was able to work a 9 to 5. I actually worked at night. Like I worked for 7 years in the call center industry, doing surveys, primarily some collections, some sales. And that's something that a lot of people are not willing to work a 9 to 5 in a cubicle, cold calling people. It's a really hard job. You get yelled at, you get death threats, you got to meet quotas, you're let go. I did that for 7 years for minimum wage, and the shifts were horrible. It was like 1 to 9:30, so your whole day was ruined. So like, I was strong enough mentally, physically to do that for 7 years. I have worked a 9 to 5. I actually worked 2 jobs at one point. during the summer, and then when I was in college full time, I was working 7 days a week full time as well. So like that was me back then. So if you take anything from this rant, it's just that do not take your health for granted. Like my entire life, I've had issues. Like there's only 3 years in my life where my health was relatively good: 14, 15, 16. Grades 8, 9, 10, and 11. Those were 3 years where I was able to eat what I wanted, and my health was relatively good. And I was a straight A student, and I didn't have any worries. I just go to school, and get straight A's. That was all. That was only my only responsibility. I was able to eat what I want. I had friends to hang out with. Then you get sick and you lose your job, and I haven't had a full time 9 to 5 in about a decade. So I've just been freelancing. Like I said, it took me 7 years to get this shitty freelance job. I paid on average, I think last year around 800, 900, it was 900, around $900 a month. And they promised me full time work, and they lied. It's this really big company. For legal reasons, I don't want to mention anything, but like it's this big company, a lot of people know of, and it's complete shit show. It's a garbage dumpster fire of a company, and they treat the employees like crap. It's why the turnover rate is so high. They pay well below the standard. They treat the employees, like I said, like garbage. Uh, it's just a shitty, really shitty company. So like I said, it's kind of mixed blessing. I don't have to deal with their BS anymore, which is good. But now it's like, what the hell do I do with the rest of my life? However much time I have, I want to, I don't want to die unemployed bum on the streets. So I would like to get some kind of stable work. But like I said, I need at least $1,000 a month to cover rent, and there's nothing out there. So I don't know what to do. I'm gonna keep applying. That's all I could do. I started a GoFundMe. I'll post a link in the video below. But like I said, I haven't made any money. I tried to make it on YouTube for about 15 years, if you can believe it. This is my second channel. I first was shut down by Sony. God of War 2K6 is God of War 2K6 Reborn. I haven't uploaded anything in about a year because no one's watching my stuff. So my sister suggested, hey, make a video with you. You're actually showing your face. But then for obvious reasons, I didn't show my face because I look like this. I look like a homunculus. But at this point, I've hit rock bottom. I figured, I don't know, maybe someone could donate a couple of bucks, or maybe someone could like refer me to some kind of job or something. Because I don't know, man. Right now, this is really sad. I'm really hoping that my dad wins the lottery. I mean, I know it's absurd. Like he always plays, so I pray that he wins. I have a rich uncle who won $10 million. So I know it's possible. About a decade ago, I don't know how much money he has left. He thinks I'm a bum though, so I don't expect anything from him. But maybe he passes and leaves us an inheritance. He's like 86 or 87. He's 88 actually. So I don't know, man. Those are like this is what I have to hope for. Like I don't know. I can't get unemployment. Like I said, I can't go on welfare for the time being. I don't know if I'm eligible. I tried to apply for disability. My doctor hasn't been any help. I should be on disability. I shouldn't even be working with all my health issues, but my back's against the wall. That's why I made this video. I haven't uploaded in like 10 months. I was thinking of posting on Facebook, just letting people know I've been let go if they know of anything, contacts. They say it's not what you know, it's who you know. There's some truth to that sentiment. So I don't know. I'm just trying different things, man. See, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and hoping for a different result. So I'm trying something different. Like I said, I try to GoFundMe. There's this video here. I'm going to try networking on social media. I got LinkedIn Premium. I got a 1 month trial. Didn't do anything for me back then, but I thought, what the hell? I have nothing to lose. Like I said, keep applying. But it looks really bleak, man. And it's just frustrating that what pisses me off the most about this world is that there's so many incompetent, evil, despicable people that have assumed positions of power. That really pisses me off. You look at Justine, Prime Minister. You look at President Houseplant in the States, most incompetent moron on the planet. Like literally anyone, you can pick a guy off the streets and do a better job than him. You can't put together 2 coherent sentences. It is what it is. Putin, and then you have Putin Jr. in Ukraine. Like, it's just, I've noticed a lot of people that are scumbags gravitate towards positions of power because, they want to boss people around, they want to hurt people. They're just sadists. And people think that's frustrating. A lot of these people are voted in. So what does that mean? Does that mean most people are evil? Most people respond to authority. They respond to these evil scumbags. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with a logical explanation. I don't know. It's just really frustrating. You see all this evil around you, and you see something like OnlyFans, for example, where you can literally just all you gotta do is take selfies, and if you've got a social media presence, you can literally make $80-90 million. Like these people, like that thought from Dr. Phil. She turned 18. She's a degenerate. She has no talent. She's not even particularly attractive. She made like $80 million this year, I think, so far. Taking selfies. I think she's not even taking nude selfies. So you can literally get pictures, take bikini pics, make money rather to take bikini pics, make $80-90 million. It's the world we're living in. Meanwhile, 99.99999% of people working their tails off for 40, 50 years. They won't even see 1% of the money that these thoughts make. And again, you see, don't hate the player, hate the game. You got to blame the Sims, lowest form of life. But it's kind of frustrating because to be honest, like if I was a girl, like I would probably consider OnlyFans as a last resort. Like I don't blame them. It's easy money. Like you just take selfies and you get millions of dollars and you can basically retire in like a week. You don't need to work. Work sucks. I get it. Life is short. I don't blame them at all. I mean, but it's the Sims. It's just frustrating. Women are living a recruit difficulty. Not all of them, of course, but a lot of them. All you gotta do is basically go on OnlyFans and take selfies. You can make money. Not everyone obviously makes money, but it's at least it's just at least a possible path towards income. Recurring revenue stream. As a guy, you have to work. Either you work or you turn to a life of crime. But then if you get caught, the ramifications can be dire. It's not really a viable solution for most people. Criminal activity. So it's either you basically work or you end up committing suicide or you end up on the streets. And those are my options right now. And it's like pick your poison. I don't know. They're all pretty shitty. When you're working, you're miserable. You're not working, you're miserable because the job hunt is so brutal. It's ultimately such a waste of time. Like I said, it took me 7 years of hell, applying every goddamn week for 7 fucking years to finally get this fucking dead end job. Most people would have given up after a year or two, but I stuck with it because I didn't have a choice. Luckily, I was good with money back in the day. Like I said, I started working at 17. I was working 2 jobs at one point. I was good with money. Never took on any debt. I have no credit card debt or college debt. Didn't spend any money on anything frivolous. Saved it all up. As a result, I still have some money in the bank at almost 36, but I'll be running out soon. So, anyways, that's basically my rant. Life's a bitch and then you die. The ball crushing. Evil people always seem to succeed. A lot of people turn to God, as I have, to try to figure out why the world is the way it is. But yeah, my faith is at rock bottom, man. It's just rough. I don't know who else to turn to. Right now, I'm gonna try to make amends with some of my frenemies, people that I've crossed paths with in the past, where we've had our issues. So let's let bygones be bygones. Water under the bridge. Try to reach out to them. With olive branch, and hope for the best. Again, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Maybe somebody can refer me to something or refer me somewhere, like some agency or something, where I can maybe get something. Or I don't know, man. I don't want to be on the streets. I'm telling you right now, man. I don't want to end up on the fucking streets. That's what it looks like right now. It looks like really bleak. Praying for some kind of Hail Mary, some kind of Deus Ex Machina to save my ass. Yeah, so again, the one thing you should take from this video is that please do not take your health for granted. Don't engage in reckless behavior. Stick on the straight and narrow, the straight edge path. That's peer pressure. These people, they're miserable. Misery loves company. They want to bring you down with them. So try to not succumb to peer pressure. And just don't take it off for granted. Eat healthy, exercise. If you have any health issues, nip it in the bud. See your doctor right away for an evaluation for proper diagnosis. Don't just diagnose yourself. A lot of people do that. They self-medicate and stuff. Avoid that. Try to get a good doctor if you can. And try to be close with your friends. Because, I've had friends for 18, 19 years, and then one day it just ended like that. So try not to take your friendship for granted. Try not to take each and every day for granted. Now with the pandemic, with all these new strains, and we don't have vaccines, we're probably going on to lockdowns. We're on the verge of a recession. It's hyperinflation. It's possible nuclear war with Russia and China. I think the former leader of Japan was just assassinated today. Things are really bad, and our leaders are incompetent, evil scumbags. So you can't rely on them. So don't take your life for granted. Live life each day like it's your last. I know that's a platitude, it's a cliche, but really, take it from someone he's running on fumes, basically, who's on life support. Please do not take your life for granted. YOLO, if there's anything you want to do, just go do it. Society be damned. Who cares what people think, man? Ultimately, it's your life. You try to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one. Live your life the way you see fit. Hopefully, you're not engaged in any kind of illegal activities that will ultimately end up hurting others and yourself. But yeah, just do things that make you happy. Try to have some good friends that like you for you, who aren't using you. No quid pro quo. They just enjoy the presence of your company. And that's it, man. Hope for the best. That's all I'm hoping for is some kind of miracle. I've been praying for the last 20 years. Hopefully, eventually my prayer will be answered. All right, peace.